of the recording. I would ask that the students try to show your camera while you're presenting. If let's say that it's not possible, please let us know. Okay, so Mei Ling, you want to start sharing your screen?
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Can you guys see my screen?
Can see.
Okay, sure.
Okay, you want to go full screen?
Is it a full screen now?
I'm currently looking at your PowerPoint.
Yeah.
No, I'm currently looking at your PowerPoint edit, the edit screen. Slide 2. Yeah.
How about now?
No, still the edit screen.
You click the down, yeah, next to the 69. Do you see the 69?
Yeah, I already.
She already clicked it. Now you need to
Yep.
share the presentation window, not the PowerPoint app. It's two
Let me
different.
check.
It's two different things. Yeah.
Presentation.
There's a presentation show. It's not the PPT. It's the PPX. Yeah, no.
I don't think.
No. It's okay. Never mind. Why don't you
No, we
present?
can see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you present from this screen instead?
Okay. Sure. Can you guys see my screen, right?
Yes.
Can.
Yeah. You may want to exit the full screen one because we
Okay,
can't
sure,
see that one. I just present from the PowerPoint. Yeah.
Like this, right?
Yeah. You try to scroll down. Yeah, correct. Like that.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mei Ling. I'm presenting my research proposal, and the title of the research is Determinants of Barriers, and Barriers of Outsourcing Third-Party Online Delivery. Perspective of F&B operators, and my supervisor is Miss Christabel. Next, I'll be talking about the background of the research. With the advancement of technologies, food delivery app used to be a new trend within cities and popular among millennial, but not mature demographic. Once the government has announced movement control policy, restaurants are permitted to take in dine-in guests and only take away orders only. Hence, the food delivery app has been highly recommended due to hygiene and convenient purpose. This is also to avoid the infections of COVID-19. It has been widely adopted by F&B operators to reach customers and offer better food convenience. The most common online delivery service companies are Foodpanda, GrabFood, and Honestbee in Malaysia. Next will be research objective is to identify the barriers of F&B operators outsourcing to third-party online food delivery service, to identify the determinants for F&B operators outsourcing to third-party online food delivery service. Basically, we are identify the reason for and the reason against F&B operators outsourcing to third-party online food delivery service. Next will be hypothesis. Hypothesis 1 will be there is a positive significant relationship between food quality maintenance and behavioral intentions of F&B operator outsourcing to third-party online food delivery service. Hypothesis 2, there is a positive significant relationship between high cost incurred and behavioral intentions of F&B operator outsourcing to third-party online food delivery service. There is a positive significant relationship between high potential in revenue and behavioral intention of F&B operators outsourcing to third-party online food delivery service. The last hypothesis, but not least, there is a positive significant relationship between broad exposure to rich customer and behavioral intentions of F&B operators outsourcing to third-party online food delivery service. Next, we will be talking about the theoretical framework. We will be using behavioral reasoning theory, and figure 1 showed is adapted from Crowdy and Peterson's research. According to Vestabi, reasons act as important linkage between value, intentions, and behavior influence of those variables within single framework. People always look for the reason to explain and justify their behavior. Hence, the reasons for and reason against can be used to predict their attitude and behavior of the society. Although there are various research has been done within the industry, however, the perspective of business owner was still limited. Next, we will talk about the methodology. I will be using qualitative approach by in-depth interviews, and roughly they will take 30 minutes per person. The target population will be 15 F&B operators within Klang Valley area. The instructions will be used such as open-ended questions instead of yes or no questions, video recording, and consent letter to be sent before the interview. The significance of the research will be to understand the perspective of F&B operators and factors that affecting their decisions, and also collect feedbacks from F&B operators who are currently involved with online delivery service as a holistic view. That's all from my presentations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mei Ling. That was pretty quick.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just wondering, perhaps your reviewer has any questions regarding your presentation?
Suge?
Yes, I'm here. Mei Ling, I would just like to ask you, first of all, what is your motivation for conducting this study? In particular, why are you interested to conduct a study in this area?
Because as I can, my observations for after during COVID, right, the F&B business has been expanded, and I feel like it's very interesting to discover their perspective as a business owner as well.
Okay. Yeah, and you also did mention about that the gap that you found was that the studies, most of the time, they did not focus on the perspective of the business owner, yeah?
Yep,
So
they
that
only
is
focus on consumer perspective.
So this is your contribution in this aspect because you found a limitation in this area, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. I just have another question because I noticed that you mentioned that you'll be conducting a qualitative study, right?
Yep.
But there is hypothesis development. Dr. Kenneth, maybe you can also verify this because hypothesis development is usually for quantitative study. And yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe Dr. Kenneth can go more into this later on. Yeah.
Can.
Yeah. So
can I just ask, will it be a quanti or a quali? Which direction?
Qualitative.
You want to do quali?
Yep.
Okay. Do you have further questions, UK?
No. Overall, the framework also okay. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Hi, Mei Ling. Can you scroll back up to your theoretical framework?
Sure.
Okay, so you did mention, okay, that you do have hypothesis. Okay, you do have a theoretical framework. All right. Normally, right, the purpose of having a theoretical framework and a hypothesis, right, is you want to measure to what extent, does all these variables actually meet each other, lah, okay? The disconnect here is that you would only do hypothesis testing and you will only adapt these theories normally when you are doing a survey or when you're doing a quantitative study. Okay, so normally the characteristics of a qualitative study is that you may have a theoretical framework, okay, but you tend not to do hypothesis testing because you tend to be more exploratory. Okay, so you don't normally do hypothesis testing lah. If you were to have be attempting to do a qualitative study, if you scroll down to your methodology, right, I would actually expect more content here. Okay, so the question is, which F&B operators are you planning to target, and why? What qualifies your interviewees as people who would be worth studying? What would be your initial questions, or what would be the initial questions that would drive your questions to these people? Okay, and then also, how would you go about analyzing these interviews? What would be the process like? All right, so stuff that we've sort of covered during the lectures, where we talk about the interview process. You know, how would you have selected your participants? Also, if you're going to be doing it based on the framework, right? Maybe if you could have provided a set of questions that show how does your framework translate into the interview questions that you'll be asking, or the themes that you'll be exploring lah. Yeah. The one thing I'm not getting right is that if you're saying that you want to target the 15 F&B operators, what makes these 15 F&B operators so special that they deserve to be targeted? So what qualifies them? Okay. So if, let's say, you're saying that you want to pick, I don't know, let's say if you want to pick Nudge and Bell, why you pick them and not pick somebody else? Okay, or are you just picking them at random, whoever who is available to you? If, let's say, you're picking them at random, right, then wouldn't it make more sense for you to have done a survey instead? Okay, because then you would be able to cover a larger sample. You would then be able to do your hypothesis testing, and those kind of things. Okay, it's not open-ended lah, but at least you cast a wider net in that sense lah. All right, so if you're planning to explore a case study which is very specific for a group of people, then I would recommend that you do qualitative. If, let's say, you're doing something which is actually quite general, okay, because we have a lot of F&B operators in Klang Valley, okay, you need to actually explain why this 15 would be special in that sense lah. Okay, it could be because they're all in the same area, it could be because they all come from the same place, or whatever it is, or whatever, but there has to be a justification exactly why this target population is so special.
Okay.
Yeah. So that would be my concern lah. Okay. Because you won't be able to generalize from this. You cannot say that these 15 people feel this way about this, therefore everybody does as well. You cannot say that, okay? Because you haven't actually done the statistics to warrant that. Yeah. That's the limitation of doing a qualitative study. Yeah. So there's no, I mean, like, I'm not saying it's wrong. Okay. It really depends on the kind of data you gather, and if you find something interesting, or if you find something which is very unique about these 15, then it's worth studying lah. If, let's say, actually their experience is shared by over 300, 500 over F&B operators in Klang Valley there, or thousands of Klang Valley operators there, then then it stops being worthwhile in that sense lah. You should have picked a different type of study lah.
Okay. Sure.
Okay. Can I maybe know why you decided to go qualitative?
Because I checked on the relevant studies, they all go for the qualitative, so I thought I should go for qualitative instead of quantitative.
All right. So did you mention the papers that you cited for this particular thing?
Yep. Sorry, I got cited, but I didn't include in my slide.
Oh, okay. So you're trying to replicate a similar study that was done overseas lah, or done somewhere else lah. Correct. Hello?
Sorry?
You were trying to replicate a similar study that was done somewhere else lah, in that sense.
Because I was thinking, like, if the similar studies was doing for qualitative approach, then if I'm doing quantitative approach, is it the content is enough to support, or I mean,
then the question boils down to who are you citing law? Okay, there will be quantitative studies, there will be qualitative studies. There will be a lot of studies out there doing a lot of different things lah. Okay, so if you want to do a qualitative approach, if you find papers that support it, then you can replicate it if you want. Okay, but during a defense or during a presentation, right, you need to be able to argue that this is a method that has been used in previous studies to study in what context, for what reasons, and this is one that you chose because you have to justify why this is appropriate for this particular group, and also why this is more preferable over other methodologies lah. Okay, because over here you haven't actually made that case, so I can't really tell if this is the right move for you, because if you presented a hypothesis testing and theoretical review, right, then it doesn't really sing the same song. It's on the first part, I thought that you were going to go quantitative, and then suddenly you say you want to go qualitative. Then I'm like, okay, doesn't really make a lot of sense lah.
because I
So
was referring to two researchers, they are using the qualitative and then they do have a theoretical framework. That's why I'm quite confused on this.
did they do hypothesis testing?
Yep.
They also did hypothesis testing. Yeah. Yeah. So maybe you can show me the papers. Maybe we can have a separate discussion later lah, and,
Sure.
and clarify this lah. All right. But anyhow, thanks for your presentation. Siugek, do you have anything else to add?
All good.
Good, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Meng Yuan, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Mei Ling.
Thank
You
you.
can unshare your screen.
Sure.
Meng Yuan, you want to try sharing your screen?
Okay. Wait a minute. So can you see my screen?
Yeah, but it's okay. Yep, we can see. Ready to go?
Okay.
All right.
Good evening, everyone. This is my presentation of my research proposal. My research title is the Internationalization Strategy Choice of Chinese Manufacturing Enterprise. My presentation is mainly divided into 4 parts. The first part is the research background. The second part is the research objective. The third part is the theoretical framework. And the last part is the methodology. The first part is the research background. The first reason why I choose this title is that I am interested in it, and my major related it. The second reason is that Chinese manufacturers need to keep exporting their product around the world. About research question, there are 3 main questions that need to be addressed in my research. The first one is in the increasing fierce international competition, how should the Chinese manufacturing enterprise choose the internationalization strategy to adapt?
Sorry, does the slide move?
International competition. The second one is what
Hello?
factors should be considered
Yeah, does the
when
slides move?
enterprise choosing a marketing strategy.
Meng Yuan,
Uh,
sorry, your slides didn't move.
Here.
Oh no, I just I haven't seen this part. I haven't seen this part.
Okay. He hasn't started that. He hasn't moved his slide because he. Yeah.
Oh, okay. The last one is where is the future future development direction of Chinese manufacturing enterprise. For research significance, it is in the past, product made in China had been labeled as cheap and low quality. While with the higher quality development of China's manufacturing industry, products made in China are becoming more and more accepted by the market and are going overseas. This research provides reference for the choice of internationalization strategy of Chinese manufacturing enterprise from the theoretical and the practical significance. Here is the reference research. Domestic scholar has concluded some research in this field, and the main conclusion and direction are shown in the table. For example, Chinese enterprise should improve their own ability to resist international risk and continuously accumulate the strength and experience of international operation. In the future development, Chinese enterprise don't have monopoly advantage and it's difficult to achieve it in the future. Chinese system is a traditional system in the process of social and historical development, and the domestic environment can be compared with the fewer liberalized international market. The internationalization of Chinese enterprise is not only complicated and difficult, but also need to go through a long stage. Foreign scholar has also studied in the internationalization of Chinese enterprise. The following table shows some of their conclusion and direction. For example, the most important way for Chinese enterprise to enter the international market is foreign direct investment. Chinese companies need to combine practical management and international corporate governance theory to have the ability to build global companies. Brown's research perspective is based on the Chinese government and how to promote the internationalization of Chinese enterprise from the perspective of the government. This research article will be a great help to my research. Part 2 is objective of research. I conclude in 3 sentences. Chinese enterprise need to integrate into the world competition. Number 2, Chinese enterprise need to use appropriate strategies to adapt to international competition. Number 3, the purpose of this research is to explore the factors that influence Chinese enterprise to choose internationalization strategies and how to choose internationalization strategies. The third part is the theoretical framework of this.
Sorry, Mangyuan.
The first is the foreign
Can you-
direct investment.
Hello?
Hello.
We are only looking at slide number 3, which is background of research. Because the slide didn't move. Sorry, I think you were playing a recording, right, for your presentation.
Sorry.
You are still at background of research. Your slide number 3. That's what we're looking at on the screen.
The slide number 3 is a theoretical framework.
No, background of research. So we can't see the slide change.
But in my computer,
Yeah, I know. It's the same problem that we have with mailing just now. You're not sharing the full screen version. Yeah, so this is
also I need to at least click.
you need to either go down or something. but just now we couldn't see where you were. Can you maybe present from your theoretical framework onwards?
So I need to form
Yeah.
background of research.
Yeah, maybe you can start there.
Okay. About the first one is in increasing fierce international competition. How should the Chinese manufacturing enterprise choose the internationalization strategy to adapt to the international competition? The second one is what factors should be considered when enterprise choosing a marketing strategy? The last one is where is the future development direction of Chinese manufacturing enterprise? For research significant, in the past, product made in China has been labeled as cheap and low quality. With the high quality development of China's manufacturing industry, products made in China are becoming more and more accepted by the market and are going overseas. This research provides reference for the choice of internationalization strategy of Chinese manufacturing enterprise from a theoretical and practical significance. Here is the relevant research. Domestic scholar has concluded some research in this field, and the main conclusion and the direction are shown in the table. For example, Chinese enterprise should improve their own ability to resist international risk and continuously accumulate the stress and the experience of international operation in the future development. Chinese enterprise don't have monopoly advantage, and it's difficult to achieve it in the future. Chinese system is a traditional system in the process of social and historical development, and the domestic development can be completed with the fully liberalized international market. The internationalization of Chinese enterprise is not only complicated and difficult, but also need to go through a long stage. Foreign scholar has also studied the internationalization of Chinese enterprise. The following table it shows some of their conclusion and direction. For example, the most important way for Chinese enterprise to enter the international market is foreign direct investment. Chinese companies need to combine practical management and the international corporate governance theory to have the ability to build global companies. Brown's research perspective is based on the Chinese government and how to promote the internationalization of Chinese enterprise from a perspective of the government. This research article will be a great help to my research. The part 2 is objective of the research. I conclude in 3 sentences. Chinese enterprise need to integrate into the world competition. Number 2, Chinese enterprise need to use appropriate strategies to adapt to international competition. Number 3, the purpose of this research is to explore the factors that influence Chinese enterprise to choose internationalization strategies and how to choose international strategies. The third part is the theoretical framework of this research. The first is the foreign direct investment. The theory of foreign direct investment mainly explore why enterprise seek overseas investment destination and carry out transnational investment in the international market. How to carry out transnational operation and what method international enterprise take to manage and control this activity effectively. I divide the theory of foreign direct investment into 3 theoretical systems, namely monopoly advantage theory, product life cycle theory, and the Kojima chain theory of foreign investment. The following is the eclectic theory of international production. The research will analyze Chinese manufacturing enterprise from the four directions of ownership advantage, location advantage, and the international advantage. And the last one is a dualist eclectic theory. From the perspective of theoretical system, the theoretical system of international production compromise still analyze the monopoly advantage of enterprise and is studied on the basis of the market. The part 4 is the methodology. The first one is data source. According to my research direction, I need to collect relevant data of Chinese manufacturing enterprise, and I temporarily determine the data source in the following four directions: Ministry of Commerce of China, National Bureau of Statistics, related enterprise annual report, and the previous reference. The second is the SWOT analysis. In my research, I will analyze the strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat of the Chinese manufacturing enterprise and discuss the future development direction of China manufacturing industry. That's all for my presentation. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Meng Yuan. Christabel, do you have any comments or questions?
I do apologize. I didn't really hear the front part. But can I just understand the topic? Is it factors to influence Chinese something something? Because I didn't really see it in the title. So I'm just wondering what exactly is the angle. Are you looking at factors to influence?
No, so I will discuss in my research.
Okay, because I saw it in your research objectives. That's why. If you go to your research objectives, yeah, there you see here. Your third one says that you want to explore factors that influence Chinese enterprise, right? So I don't know, Dr. Kenneth, can you help me out here? I'm with regards to the arrows.
Yeah, sure. Okay, your research objectives, right? You need to reword them because these are not really objectives. Okay. The objectives of your research needs to be tied to your research questions. These are more like statements. Okay.
Oh, yes.
If let's say the purpose of your research is to explore factors that influence Chinese enterprises to choose internationalization strategies. Okay.
Yes, I want to add some factors influence Chinese and help this enterprise go to the board. Yeah.
So if you want to talk about factors influencing them to decide to go to abroad, right? Then that should be in other words, your problem statement, or in other words, your sort of like the aim of your research. It's not really an objective. An objective normally is to say, through this research, you are going to determine or to investigate, the strategies used by different Chinese enterprises, or you are going to understand or to determine how one variable affects another variable, or to determine how does one factor affect another dependent variable. That would normally be the story when it comes to objectives. Yeah. Okay. So these are more like I would not really put them here. Yeah, these are more like statements. These are more like the background of your research. We all know that enterprises need to be competitive. Okay, that's not really a surprise. An objective is to say that through your research, what are you planning to achieve? Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I wouldn't actually put this here, you have a lot of theories in your framework. You talk about foreign direct investments. You talk about product life
There's
cycle,
three here,
theory
and
of
there's
monopoly.
another one.
Yeah, and then
there's
there's
four.
more in this, and there's another few more in your slide number 12. But I don't see how that relates to your data sources. Because your data sources, right? You mentioned that you will be getting data from National Bureau of Statistics, Ministry of Commerce of China, annual reports, and other references. Okay, so how will this tie in with your foreign direct investment and your various other things in your theoretical framework? Where is the link?
The theoretical is just I want to divide one part, just talk about theoretical, and I will combine one company or one company in this theoretical.
Yeah. Do you know which company you want to study?
Miniso.
Sorry, Miniso?
Miniso.
Okay. If that's the case, then your title should be to study Miniso as a case study.
I'm not decide which
Yeah,
I need
because
a case study of Miniso.
yeah, because right now, right, this is way too broad because there are a lot of Chinese manufacturing enterprises.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So if you want to talk about all Chinese manufacturing enterprises, you can't cover everything using what you're doing. Okay. So if you're talking about you want to track the internationalization strategy of Miniso, and you want to look at their approach to their internationalization. So in order to do that, you will be looking back at their annual reports. You'll be looking back at their data in the ministries or those publicly available data. And I don't know, perhaps you want to conduct interviews with some of their top executives if you have access to them. Okay,
Yeah, I'm confused if I need to add a case study of Miniso.
Yeah, because I unless you want to, if you want to do the entire sector, then it stops being a case study. Then it becomes it goes to secondary sources already. Okay, which means to say that you're doing more like economic study. If you're doing more economics based, right, then you need to link your theoretical framework to your data source and be able to explain how you're going to use the data in order to explain what you're trying to find through your theoretical framework. Because the SWOT analysis is not going to do that. SWOT analysis, right, it's more like your opinion about what is the strengths, the weaknesses, the threats, or the opportunities. That one won't cut it when it comes to data.
Is he doing a quali or a quanti, Dr. Kenneth?
It looks like quanti to me lah. But the
It
SWOT
looks
analysis
like
does not feel like a quanti to me. Because SWOT analysis is really about how you conceptualize what is strength, what is weakness, what is opportunity, what is threat. But if let's say you're not the owner of Miniso and you need to talk to an owner of Miniso to actually tell you what are the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, I don't know whether you can do that or not. Also, you must always bear in mind, right, you only have a few months to finish your research project. So you need to scale down your project, yeah. This is, at this point, right, there's a lot for you to do.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
How about his theories? It's a little concerning to see so many theories.
Yeah, it's a bit jumbled up. If let's say if you want to talk about internationalization, right? I don't know whether foreign direct investment strategy or foreign direct investment theory is the right one for you. I would rather just take one theory like monopoly advantage, and just go with that rather than taking so many different theories. We don't need so many theories. We only need one. Okay, and you just need to bang on that one theory. Just investigate it fully and then see how does it relate to one particular company or a group of companies. You know, like for example, you know, let's say Meng Yuan, where are you from again?
厦门，福建。
Xiamen, yeah. So let's say you are looking at a group of companies that came out from Xiamen, and you're specifically looking at a group of companies that are from there. And this collection of companies, right, you want to see how they internationalize. Then you need to track their history. You need to show how many branches did they open from 1 year to the next year to the next year to the next year, and what was the decisions made for that. That would be a good study for me. Okay, so there you can actually look at the literature. There's a lot of studies being done about Chinese firms. There's a lot of studies, especially being done on ZTE, Huawei, and a lot of the Chinese electronics firms. If you want to talk about the sort of like the low price goods, or the sort of, you know, like those convenience stores, or those I don't know what you call them. For Miniso is more like a what novelty shop or those thrift shops, right? Then you need to find the literature to cover that. Understand?
Okay, and I see.
All right. Does anybody else have any questions or any concerns?
Not from my end.
Not from your end, huh? Silke, you have anything else to add?
Not at this point.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you everyone for your time. If you guys have any further concerns, you guys want to discuss it further, please seek out your supervisor. You can also speak to me, and we can discuss it as well. Just drop me a message on Telegram. We can fix an appointment, or we can discuss it further via chat. Okay. Otherwise, thanks everyone for coming in. This session is done. For those who are staying for the second session, it will start at 8 o'clock. We're going to just break for the time being and return then. If you're not staying, thank you very much for coming. See you again some other time.
Thank you, Dr. Kenneth and Ms.
Thank you.
Ko.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Reviewers, please remember to submit your evaluations. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.